but man, when it figures it out, there's a ton of grunt here. Hey crew, I've got the key to that 23 Chevy Colorado. We are going to take it for a drive, but first, let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. This is the all-new generation of Chevy's midsize pickup, and here we have the LT trim, which is one step up from the base work truck. With that, you get things like this textured Chevy bow tie, gray painting for the grille, functional air inlets, LED DRLs, incandescent turn signals, and available projector LED headlights. Down low are optional LED fog lights, and then more options include these two recovery hooks. It's hard to tell here in white, but there's a lot of sculpting up on this hood, and I think it looks really cool. At the side, the LT gets standard 17-inch wheels, or you can upgrade to these 18s wrapped in all-season tires. As we step back to look at the profile, note the 3.1 inches of added wheelbase length, and the fact that the new Colorado is only offered in this crew cab with the 5'2" 2-inch bed configuration. At the back, there are more LEDs for the DRLs, but incandescent lights within, along with incandescent turn signals. Integrated corner steps are here. Chevy is stamped on the tailgate as an option. Down low is a hitch receiver, and with the mid-level output, this truck can tow up to 7,700 pounds. Full-size spare tires also found underneath the bed. Dampened tailgate is an option, as is the spray-in bed liner. You can also adjust the height at which this tailgate drops to, so that you can prop up things like 2x4s and surfboards. Furthermore, there is a segment first in-bed storage area that is 45 inches wide, 4 inches deep, and has a drain plug, so you could put things like drinks with ice in here, or just put your tools. And when this is up, it will also hold in whatever you're hauling. You've got tie-down points all throughout the bed, optional AC outlet back here, and optional sliding rear window. All in all, the new Colorado does look like a graduated truck. Is it better or worse looking than the Toyota Tacoma and Ford Ranger? That's what I want to know. Let me know in the comments, and let's check out the interior. Opening up and looking inside at this black interior, where fabric seats are standard in the LT, this one has available leatherette. On the doors, harder plastics are high and low, with a leatherette padded portion here for your arm, contrast stitching, textured trim, power, not one-touch windows, and then this one has the upgraded Bose sound system. Stepping in, behind my own seat at 6 feet tall, I've got enough knee room. The foot pockets are decent sized to slide my feet under. Thigh support is just sort of okay. Headroom, my head just nestles against the roof. It's not pressed up against it uncomfortably, and I can make it back to that headrest, so that gets the thumbs up from me. There are two cup holders here as standard. You get optional rear air vents, optional USB-C and A port, and an available AC outlet down low. Sliding into the middle, not too bad to do. My knee is pressed against the seat back. My head does clear the roof. I think in a pinch you could put 3 full-size adults back here. Just don't make it a long journey. There is also an armrest that comes down if you don't have a middle passenger, with 2 cup holders and padding. Let's check out the front. Door close noise. Little bit of a pop to it, but not bad. Smart keyless entry is for the front 2 doors. These front seats are heated as an option. There are power adjustments for the driver's side, manual adjustments for the passenger. The front doors look the same as the back, but they do add this padded portion here in the door. The driver's side window is auto one touch. You get power adjusting, not power folding door mirrors. And what is that? Looks like an exploded cleaning solution. Let's fully turn on the truck to get all of our screens going. And both of these are standard. You've got an 8-inch color TFT display that is reconfigurable. And then we've got an 11.3-inch touchscreen. It's the biggest in this segment now, and it's running Google built in. It's quite responsive, and it has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's also a volume knob here. We've got 2 dials to control your available dual zone climate, leatherette stitched up on the dashboard, quick select toggles, 2 USB ports, 1A, 1C, a camo-themed wireless smartphone charging pad, that's optional, and then leather for your gear selector, gloss black in the worst spot for it. It will smudge, it will scratch, it will collect dust here. We've got 2 cup holders, light padding for your console, and under that we've got 2 levels of storage. Visibility is quite good and gets better when you fold down those rear headrests. There's also available, not standard, blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic. This cabin does feel like a major upgrade for the Colorado. The standard screens are wonderful. I'm ready. Let's take the new Colorado for a drive. All right, let's fire it up. I heard, but barely felt that startup. Pulling back on the gear selector to go into reverse prompts a very high resolution camera system. We've got the available HD vision, so you can see our bird's eye camera off to the left, backup camera with trajectory lines. You can see a front-facing view, zoom in on a variety of different angles, and if you're towing something, have even more camera angles to choose from. Here we'll back on out. Head down into drive. And start off with a turning radius test. Bring up the cameras once again and crank it. Are we going to clear? Yes! I'm going to say that's about average for mid-sized trucks. What about the world-famous horn test? Ooh. Sharp. It's a sharp note. Got a little rain falling for us. Test out the windshield wipers. And let's talk powertrain in this all-new generation of the Chevy Colorado. So no longer are we going to have 3 different engines to choose from. In the previous generation, you had a 4-cylinder turbo to start, you had then a naturally aspirated V6, and then you had a diesel motor. Here, we're only getting one engine. It is a 2.7-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It does have 3 different levels of output, though. As standard in the work truck and in the LT, if you don't upgrade it like we have here upgraded, then you get 237 horsepower and 259 pound-feet of torque. That's a big bump up both in power and torque compared to the entry-level Colorado before, which made 181 horsepower and 191 pound-feet of torque. If you step up to the mid-tier, which is, I think, a $1,200 upgrade, and in my opinion, well worth it, you're getting 310 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque. Compare that to 308 horsepower and 275 pound-feet from the previous V6. Those are stout power figures. Either way, whether you go low, medium, or there is also an upper tier that has over 400 pound-feet of torque, you're mated to an 8-speed automatic gearbox, and power is sent to either the rear tires, or as this vehicle is equipped with the available 4-wheel drive system and 2-speed transfer case. Right now on this rougher road, which now has blended into a smoother road, I am loving the ride quality in this Colorado. So you've got an independent front suspension with coilovers, and at the rear it's a solid axle with leaf springs. And the solid rear axle does bop us around a little bit. It is a pickup truck after all. But the way this truck dampens you from the road imperfections is praiseworthy. You just kind of bop in your seat. The hits are not harsh, and these seats themselves are very comfortable. The leatherette padding is supportive. I found a nice driving position for myself. The brake pedal is very natural, very intuitive to operate. It's not grabby. The 4-cylinder does make a little noise as you're getting up to speed, but the power delivery is linear, and you just don't feel like there's a lot of delay getting you up to speed. Peak torque comes in pretty early on. I know for this mid-level setup, it's before 3,000 RPM. And without much effort, therefore, you can come up to a nice cruising speed. Actually, I had to check my notes. The peak torque in this mid-level output is at 3,000 RPM, not before it. But that's still plenty early for you to be able to drive this truck casually and not worry about bogging off the line. Meanwhile, the 8-speed is not really noticeable in the gear changes, just operating in the background. And the overall effect of this powertrain and transmission package is one of enjoyable leisure. Now as we move into highway speeds, we can listen for that NVH level. And we get some of that tire noise, a little bit of that wind noise now coming in. But on this road surface, which I know for a fact can get very loud with tire noise, this is quite acceptable. For this segment of truck, you're not going to be shouting to have a conversation with your passengers. We do have the lane keep assist on right now. You turn it off. But I'll note that if I take my hands off momentarily, it does in fact keep us in the center of the lane. A little bit of a ping-ponging thing that happens. But if I take that off and I just focus on how the truck is tracking down the road, I don't have to stay too busy with the steering. Once again, meaning that you can drive this new Colorado in a little more relaxed fashion. You don't have to pay too close attention to all the small inputs to make sure that you're just tracking straight. And as far as passing power is concerned, if I just put my foot down, there's some hesitation from the transmission on the downshift. It wasn't sure whether I actually wanted it to drop some gears. But man, when it figures it out, there's a ton of grunt here for all the maneuvers that you're going to encounter, at least on a highway. This is more than sufficient. And this does feel a little pointless here in the wet, but I've got my race box set up here and I want to see how quick we can get this 310 horsepower version of the Colorado to 60. So brake boost it and let it go. And there it is in 6.99 seconds. You felt a little bit of slip, and that wasn't bad. Under 7 seconds to 60. For a mid-size pickup, come on. Let's try hopping in the entry-level work truck version of the Colorado with that base power output to see how it compares. All right, and now we find ourselves behind the wheel of a work truck version of the new Colorado. So that means we've got the base level of output from the 2.7 liter turbo 4-cylinder, meaning once again 237 horsepower and 259 pound-feet of torque. Routed through the same 8-speed automatic gearbox, and also in this truck we've got the 4-wheel drive system with the 2-speed transfer case. So this work truck flavor doesn't feel slow necessarily. You just have to be a little more patient with it, and of course not having the same level of power and torque as the mid-level, you'll just know that your passing speed isn't quite as robust. But that, again, does not mean this truck feels slow. It's got plenty of pep. And it's really just a massive upgrade compared to that anemic 4-cylinder that powered the previous generation of this truck. And Chevy says it's durable too. This motor uses some of the same components that they use in diesel engines, so it's hopefully going to last you more than your typical turbo 4-cylinder. Meanwhile, all the things I loved about the LT are still true of this work truck. The seat comfort is fabulous, even with the fabric material. The visibility is excellent. It gives you this confidence as a driver, and the ride composure on, honestly, any road surface is super agreeable. Now, we don't yet know the fuel economy for any of the varietals of the 2.7 turbo 4-cylinder, so we're going to have to wait on that. The top speed hasn't yet been announced, and I'm not going to do a 0 to 60 test of this work truck because we've entered peak traffic hour. I'll just say that I estimate it to be at least a second slower compared to that 310 horsepower version of this motor. Overall, I'm very impressed with this new generation of the Colorado, and in my mind, it's kind of bubbled to the top of this mid-size pickup truck segment as we await the new generation of the Toyota Tacoma and the new generation of the Ford Ranger that are coming later this year, and that will make this segment really hot once again. But let's talk about the starting figure of the work truck, which is just a little over $30,000. And as I said, if you want to upgrade to the mid-level engine, that's about $1,285, which is, in my mind, well worth it. Despite how solid this entry-level powertrain is, it's just so much better in that mid-level flavor. If you want the LT trim, then you're looking at a little over $33,000. And if you add in things like the 4-wheel drive system for $3,300 and that one package that adds the leatherette material and a whole bunch of other goodies, they only have it bundled in that one package, then in that LT truck I drove, it was a little over $46,000, and this work truck is a little over $37,000. So things can get pricey, but I don't think you need all the bells and whistles to appreciate this truck. That's what I'm taking away here. It's a really solid offering, and it is a massive step up for the Colorado. Which would you guys choose? Would you go Colorado? Would you go Ranger? Would you go Tacoma? Would you go Nissan Frontier? Let me know in the comments. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and share it. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell to get notified, and I'll see you next time.